Hey, what's up? I'm Sam Ryder. Welcome back to my back garden. The bugs are out in full force and they're massive and the fire's raging. I'm going to chat to you about my song, Oh OK. I hope you enjoy me waffling on. Let's go. So the song is inspired by, again, like very universal sort of understand, basically making your ex jealous. Like we've all done it or we've all had it done to us. But originally Camille wanted to chase this concept of like a male perspective on Man, I Feel Like a Woman by Shania Twain. And it's interesting because we didn't land anywhere really near that, but you can kind of hear the cheekiness or like the sassiness that comes with that is confidence. But it's very like blasé confidence, you know. But I think that speaks to the song because, like I said, all of us have been through this thing. I remember like, I don't know, it not working out with an ex, and as soon as the actual sort of like relationship ends, the sort of post game of the relationship begins, which is basically a race to the very bottom of nonchalance. Like I want very much for them to know that I do not care and I'm not bothered. However, the amount of care and effort that goes into making that person realise that I don't care is substantial. And I think it's so funny, again, like such a human trait and something that binds us all together. And obviously the critical thing is that person doesn't know that you've gone to all this effort. And I just think it's hilarious. And we all understand that feeling. So I wrote the song with Steve Mack and Camille, both amazing writers. I mean, Steve Mack is probably regarded as one of the greats in the UK songwriting scene. Like he's worked on mad stuff, and Camille, same, like incredible work ethic. I've heard so many good things about Camille and her like style and approach to melody and lyric and everything like that. So yeah, I was buzzing to get in the room with both of them. And yeah, this song, I think this was a bit of a Hail Mary on the day because I had 2 days with Steve, and the second day Camille joined us and we wrote 3 songs that day. And put it this way, you don't always hit the target. So the first 2 I couldn't remember. If you like, there's a gun to my head right now, I couldn't remember those 2 songs. So sometimes that happens. But the third song, like 30 minutes before we were going, I remember me and Camille were going to the F1 thing at the O2. It's like it's like Eurovision for cars basically, and they were showing off all the new teams, like liveries in the cars. So me and Camille were like rushing off to go and do that. But yeah, so we were like, got 30 minutes, let's just try and write one more. And it ended up being this song. So yeah, thank God. The pressure was on when I was writing with Steve because I'd wanted to work with him for years, but for multiple reasons that I don't want to go into and I don't want to bore you with, we were prevented from working with each other. But as soon as those things kind of moved out of the way, Steve heard down the grapevine and he got in touch, which was so cool for me because in my head, like, I don't know, you make stories like maybe that person would never want to write with me anyway, you know, but then hearing that he'd got in touch and was like, I want to write with Sam now, I was just stoked. But the only days we could do, I was fresh off a flight from, I think, the US, somewhere in the US. I was flying in and I'd been away for like 2 months, so I was very much on like US time, super jet lagged. And I remember like that, I don't really drink coffee or anything like that, so I got some pre-workout on the day, just like made sure I was like as alert as possible. So I turned up to his studio like proper wired. I just wanted it to go well because I wanted to show him what I was capable of writing wise, but also I wanted to learn as much as possible from someone I really respect and consider, like I said, to be one of the best around. So yeah, and then hearing that Camille was going to join us as well, I was stoked about that. So we got on like a house on fire, and just amazing team. So the coolest thing about the session with Steve and Camille is like, well, Steve for one, like, is a writer that really does his preparation. So you'll turn up at his studio and he would have been there a couple of hours before, just like coming up with something. just some kind of like thing to share with the group, which, believe me, not many people do. I always try and do the same, like turn up with some kind of concept or idea, but like Steve takes it to a whole nother level. Like he's got like loops laid out and things that is sort of like semi-produced to a point where you can really catch a vibe with it. So, and like Camille is rapid as well on like finding and hunting down like a melody, and like I said, her like lyrical ability is crazy good, and super like she can tackle concepts that you've heard before and can like under anyone else's pen could like just come across as tired, but she finds a new way of saying something that you've heard before, which is such a skill. But I told Steve, and I like tried to let him into this world that I'm trying to build for the next record, of like the whole frontier soul thing. So like I told him all my influences, like from old westerns, for like Twin Peaks, from like old scores, and just this approach to creating like a deserty sound with soul music, and he really understood it. So like straight away when I'm telling him these things and like going into all the niche like sort of world building around frontier soul and this album, like he understood and like came up with like Tubular Bells like straight away. So for Steve, when he heard me talk about frontier soul, he translated that as, okay, we need some big like hang 'em high like moments in this production. So as soon like big twangy guitars came out, Tubular Bells going dong, 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 like this major chord here which just changes everything, but then he does his thing on it, which is basically, and I say this with the greatest respect, the simplest, most nursery rhyme little melody ever that just goes dong, 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 which is actually probably the catchiest thing in the song, and it's actually such a bold move because it could be so rubbish, really, but he just smashed it, and kind of reminds me of like ELO and Jeff Lynne's approach to like some of those synth sounds where kind of it sounds like you've just turned the synthesizer on and it's the default sound that comes up straight away, like patch one, boom, sick, let's record it. And like the way that he works so quick as well, it taught me so much. And same with Camille, just like chasing like catching a vibe before it flows out the room. Yeah, both of those guys are great at it, and I learnt so much during that session. With this song, actually, we did change quite a lot. We, like I said, it wasn't one of those ones where we're changing it for the sake of changing it either. It just like, it happened so fast. 30 minutes, we were writing this song, and then didn't even finish verse 2. I had to jump in like Steve's like bathroom and get changed for this F1 event. So I was like out the door, humming this thing in my head, trying to finish it on like in the car on the way to the O2. But we got some time back together because Steve was due to leave for LA and he was like snowed under. But when he hears something, he knows whether we've got something or not, you know. So he was like, he called me up, was like, Sam, are you free? Like in 2 days' time, I reckon we've got something with this song. So I went back to his studio, we vocaled it properly, we wrote the second verse, and I played some bass. He had some wicked drums going on, and yeah, I built this like Western choir, which basically like very Twin Peaks inspired and old Disney movies, very like a consistent sound and approach to backing vocals that's across the whole album. And then left it with Steve. He worked on it and got this song to such an amazing spot. And then he's gassing me up as well because he's like, this is the best song I've written in 5 years. Like, and I'm like stoked, you know, I'm buzzing about that. Because more than anything, because I was like praying that our limited amount of time together after all of this time would have been productive, you know. So then I started working on some bits at my studio, put some like synths and guitars and just these weird elements that again just brought it into frontier soul territory, which is the like the North Star sonically and directionally for the album. and I think we've just come up with something that's so cool and like dripping with character. And yeah, big up Camille, big up Steve. Love you both to bits, and I hope we can work together again, because that was just a dream. I haven't played this song live ever. There was a couple of times in Austin when we were there for South by Southwest. I was kind of practicing it in my hotel room, thinking I might throw it in the set tonight, but I bottled it every time, because I just, you know, when the lyric isn't quite there in your head, and I didn't want the first time to be like tainted with just messing it up and butchering it. So yeah, the moment is still on its way, but I'm stoked. We're about to start a tour around the US in a few weeks' time, so it's very much in my head now, and yeah, I'm buzzing to play it. So I guess New York will be the first time we're going to play this song. It's very cool, which I'm wearing the right hat for. Go Jets, let's go. All I can say now is I can't express how much I can't wait to play this on live. I think it's going to be dope, and I can't wait to share in all of our energy about just thinking about those times we've tried to make an ex jealous, because I think it's class. And yeah, I'll see you there.